right? And so that is the promise of what this can do, right? It could save time, and by saving time, it could save lives. All right, so one of the issues, right, we talked about medical information doubling in the video, right? This one's a scary statistic, and this is from the Chief Medical and Science Officer at UPMC, right? One of the top research institutes in the world. Only 20% of the knowledge clinicians today, of the information they use, is evidence-based, right? 81% of physicians spend less than 5 hours a month reading medical journals, right? We all go to doctors. They're seeing 11 patients an hour, right? They're working 9 to 10 hours a day. Right? When do they have time to read all this stuff, right? So the idea here is, can we provide an assistant or an advisor to doctors to help them deal with all the information that's being produced, right? So we're working with organizations like Memorial Sloan Kettering, right, MD Anderson, to take their best practices, their clinicians' data on cancer, and feeding that into the system to see if we can actually speed up and improve diagnosis on patients, right? We think it's very promising. They think it's very promising. We've been working on them with them for the last year, and they really think it could make a difference, right? And in fact, we did a rare in the IT industry. We did a press conference, and well, the IT industry does press conferences all the time, but the people that stood up and spoke at the press conference were not the IBMers that called the press conferences. We had the chief doctors and CEOs of these institutions stand up and talk about what they saw the promise of the technology to be. Right, so we're on the cusp of something very important, we think. So this is a quick example, right? So this is an iPad, right? It's got information. The doctor's about to see a patient, right? Before the patient enters, she logs in the system, receives a single view of the patient's medical record and case history. It pulls all the information together and presents it in an easy-to-use way, right? The results of a CT scan just came back. The doctor presses the Ask What button to understand the results in the context of everything else we know about that patient. So this is the connect the dots part, right? So it takes the CT scan and the information from the CT scan and compares it to the family history, to the previous electronic medical record about that particular patient, but then also can compare it to everything it knows about medicine in general, right? And start to come out with some hypothesis, right? So at the end of this, it would have looked at 3,500 textbooks, 69 guidelines, 250,000 journal articles, 61,000 clinical trials, and 106,000 other clinical